So obviously things are a little slow on news, so I figured we'd just have a little fun time today. Just a little day in, just doing a little tier list of DC Extended Universe films. Tier lists are quite fun, I guess, and I've never done one of these before, so yeah, let's just sit down and do some DCEU films in a tier list, why not? So, first of all, we got Man of Steel, the beginning of the DC Extended Universe, Superman's debut into this world, Henry Cavill's first time in the role. Absolutely fantastic movie, in my opinion. I loved how sort of grounded the whole thing was. I love Zack Snyder's style that he applies to Superman in his world. It's a very big feeling movie, you know. I think at the time it came out, it was probably the biggest feeling superhero movie ever made. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the ground running with a S tier movie. Like that's a damn good start to the DC Extended Universe. Coming up next, we got Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is a good movie, but it definitely drops the ball somewhat on a narrative level. This definitely wasn't the narrative quality of Man of Steel, and even then, narrative wasn't necessarily the strongest point of Man of Steel. It was the visceral action and the filmmaking. That's all kind of there in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, but I think the quality of the storytelling and I guess how convincing some of these plot points are definitely takes a bit of a nosedive, such as, you know, they're trying to frame Superman for murdering civilians by shooting them, and it's like, okay, we're gonna believe that Superman shot a bunch of people. It feels like there's so much missing from it, so I'm gonna go ahead and consider Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice a B tier DC Extended Universe movie. It's okay, it's pretty good, it's got some really great action beats, it's got great moments in there, but the film on a whole doesn't quite land the way it should. Next up, we have Suicide Squad, and this was kind of the beginning of the DC Extended Universe going for more of a crowd-pleasing sort of a direction. They wanted to make something more akin to Marvel, and it definitely shows there's definitely a lot of influence from Guardians of the Galaxy. The sad thing about Suicide Squad is it feels like a checklist of Guardians of the Galaxy tropes without actually any of the qualities that made Guardians of the Galaxy a good movie. Instead, it's got, well, just about all of the makings of a very lazy, very mandated, obligatory movie. But worse, yeah, it feels kind of insulting to the intelligence in the way that it kind of panders to the young demographic and the young audience. Some of the hip lingo it uses, and not to mention, this film doesn't even look nice like Batman v Superman did. This is a very ugly looking movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that in the D tier, right at the bottom. That is an awful, awful film. So next up, we've got Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition, which was released on the Blu-ray copies of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And it's a version of the film that definitely filled in a lot of the narrative blanks. There's still a few plot contrivances here and there, but ultimately it is a much more streamlined version of the film. Even though it's, I think, half an hour longer than the theatrical edition, it definitely feels less choppy, a lot more cohesive. Like, for example, the plot point I brought up previously, they're trying to accuse Superman of shooting everyone. In this version, you see they're burning the bodies to kind of make it like his heat vision and everything. And there's a lot of these, you know, accusations and stuff are clearly a lot more scripted this time around, with characters being forced to say things out of fear of their life and everything like that. So it definitely fixes it, but ultimately, like, all of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice's better qualities really shine through a whole lot better in the Ultimate Edition, now that the narrative actually makes proper sense, and you can really enjoy and appreciate Zack Snyder's very visceral, very visual style of storytelling. So I'm going to go ahead and put it S tier, right up there with Man of Steel. Absolutely fantastic. So, similar case with Suicide Squad. The Blu-ray release brought us an extended cut of the film, so we got Suicide Squad Extended Cut. This one doesn't really fix anything, it just adds a few more scenes to explore the character of the Joker and Harley Quinn a little more, and there's just a bit more of it. Is it better than the theatrical cut? Yes, but it is still a very, very bad movie. It doesn't fix the problems with the previous ones, it just gives you a little bit more of the Joker, so you feel like you got a little bit more of your money's worth. but by no means is this good. So, again, D tier. So next up we have Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is good. I feel it's a very vanilla comic book movie. It's very much, as you would expect a Wonder Woman movie set in that time to be. It does borrow quite a lot from Captain America the First Avenger, I feel. And it definitely doesn't have some of the Zack Snyder-y flourishes, which made Batman v Superman and Man of Steel as interesting as they are. It's a much safer movie, and that does explain why it's a much more popular movie. It's good all round. It doesn't really get much wrong, although its third act is very weak, and I don't know, it takes a little bit of time to get going, I feel. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the B category. And I think, if it comes down to personal preference, I do prefer Batman v Superman's theatrical cut a little bit here, but I would say that Wonder Woman is the more cohesive production. Which brings us over to Justice League. Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder's joint Justice League. Oh boy, this is going to get me some flack. So the thing with Justice League is that it is obviously a completely different movie that's been reverse engineered into a family-friendly, fun film. And it doesn't work. On that level, it doesn't work. It's not very cohesive. Visually, the seam lines really, really show with this one. It is a very janky product. And the truth be told, I hate what Justice League represents. I hate the whole, they took the vision away from the director at one of his very dark personal moments thing. I don't like that any more than anybody else does. And no, a Justice League movie should not be in that kind of position. It should be treated better than that. But at the same time, I can't help but enjoy Justice League on a very entertainment-based level, purely for entertainment value, and also the thrill of seeing these characters come together on screen. I do like these new versions of the characters as well, so that works for me. Steppenwolf is not an interesting villain by any stretch, and the CGI is incredibly unconvincing. But I mean, I'm willing to look past a little bit of jank. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the fan film genre, and I like, you know, homemade films. It kind of gives off that kind of energy. It shouldn't, but ultimately, I just can't hate Justice League. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, personally, I would stick it in the B category, but I'm going to put it in the C category. That's where it's going to go. So next up, we have Aquaman. Aquaman is fine. It's an enjoyable film. It kind of really goes through the motions a lot. It's a very breakneck paced thing. Overall, I do like Aquaman. I think it's a pretty enjoyable film. But that's all I really got. Again, like Wonder Woman, it's pretty unremarkable in my opinion, but it's fine. I definitely like the way Atlantis looks, so I'm going to put it there. I'd say it's a prettier looking film than Wonder Woman. Like, there are some really nice visual moments that really do give off some kind of Snyder energy, but overall the film itself is fine. So I'm going to put it in B tier. So next up we have Shazam, and Shazam I really, really loved. It's definitely it's a more conventional, sort of back to basics superhero movie. It definitely feels very standalone, which is great. It feels like kind of a leftover from the early 2000s superhero film era, but done at some of the best quality that we saw. It's not like Raimi's Spider-Man tier or anything like that, but it still feels very back to basics, you know? So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the A tier. I thought Shazam was absolutely terrific. Now, Joker. It's not really a part of the DC Extended Universe, but it is kind of a part of this slate of films in a way. I think you can include it. I mean, maybe I shouldn't include it, but I think everybody should always include it. So Joker, it looks like a really good film. It looks like a classic. And it sounds like a classic with the music being as good as it is, and the performances across the board are absolutely stellar. It's just a shame the script doesn't live up to that. The script feels very one-note and preachy to me, and it's only made worse by everyone telling me, oh, you just didn't understand the film. It's like, no, dude, like, you can dislike this film if you want. I mean, I don't dislike it. I just think it's perfectly fine, but I'm not big on it either. I would say, as far as my feelings towards it go, it's a C. But as quality goes, it's more of a B. So I guess I'm gonna put it there. It's fine. It's very entertaining at least, so I'll give it that. And then we have Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, the most recent DC Extended Universe film. And it was alright. It was okay. I liked the Birds of Prey a whole lot more than I liked Harley Quinn. There was a lot of characters in this film where I was like, why is that not the main character of this? The issue I had with Birds of Prey was, for one, Harley Quinn keeps stopping the movie dead to explain stuff to you. And then she's like, oh, I told this bit wrong, we have to go back to this bit now to explain it properly. And it stops the movie dead, and it's very tedious, and I really didn't like that. Harley Quinn, definitely the weakest part of this film, and I wish they could have chosen a different catalyst for it. And because this is very much a Harley Quinn movie, that means I don't like a lot of this movie. However, the Birds of Prey themselves are great, the story's fun, the acting performances are fine. I think it kind of undermines also the whole it's a girl power movie when the opponents that they're up against are as incompetent as they are. Like, they're not really very put to the test until, like, the very, very end. I feel like that undercuts things a little bit. So overall, I would say Birds of Prey is C tier. So that's my DC Extended Universe tier list. You can definitely tell what my preference is. I'm definitely a Zack Snyder fan, evidently. It's not something I can help, but that's just how I feel. Shazam, really good. These guys were all fine, but just far from perfect, really. And then it gets a bit messy, and then in D tier, I cannot stand those Suicide Squad movies. Just, no. So, there we go. What do you think, guys? Comment below and discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, why don't you head over to channelpup.net, where you can visit our blog page Dr. Blogtopus, but you can also buy merch, such as the official Channel Pup replica hoodie. And I mean, if you insist here, guys. Maybe hit subscribe, maybe hit the like button, and in the description below are the links to my social media handles, including the Patreon, where your contribution can help me run this channel, and really keep it alive. That aside, I am really grateful that you checked out this video today. Thank you so much for watching, fellow home dog. See you on another video.